So we just spotted the first mud crab of the day. So he's just sitting in there somewhere. I'm getting hammered by mozzies right now. And I'm trying to make sure I don't grab his claws at the front. And there we go. Big mud crab out here in the mangroves. Okay, so it's low tide at the moment, about 8 o'clock in the morning, and we've just made it out to a remote section of mangroves here in southeast Queensland. Now, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be challenging myself today to catch my own food out here in the mangroves. We might even stay out here later on tonight. Now, the species that we're going to be looking for, and the species that I've come out here and caught plenty of times before, is big Australian mud crabs. But not only that, if we go for a kayak up to the freshwater area of this river system, it's a place that's filled with bull sharks. The big mothers will drop the bull shark pups at the start of these big rivers, and they'll make their way all the way up here. So while we're kayaking around today, we might even have a chance of seeing these bull sharks from the kayak, because I've been in this system before, and in one day I've seen 70 of them. Now, the thing that I love about the mangroves so much is it holds life for so many animals. And out of any of the areas that I've actually survived in before, we've gone out to the desert and survived out there for days on end. We've spent a lot of time in rainforests looking for bush tucker and finding fish. We've even done island survival videos off the beach. And I'd say that this area right here, this section of mangroves, is a place that I'm most confident in when it comes to catching food. I reckon we'll be able to go out and catch some food pretty quickly this morning. The big Australian mud crabs that live out here in the mangroves are pretty insane creatures. So what we're gonna do first, start kayaking around, see what animals we can find first up in the morning. But if I see any entrances, any little creeks leading from the thickest section of mangroves, we're gonna walk up there and see if we can catch any crabs straight up in the morning. All right, so before we go any further, I'd love to give a shout out to the people who made this video possible. You should definitely go show these legends some support for supporting this channel. Raid Shadow Legends. It's a game with awesome champions, intense PvE and PvP content, even tactical upgrade systems. So Raid are actually holding a special Spring Hunt minigame where you can go to springhunt.plarium.com, enter your player ID and participate. So this event actually started on the 15th of April and it runs until the 30th of May, and it's really cool because you can actually win real prizes like gaming consoles, Amazon gift cards worth $10,000. You can get in-game loot, and new users will get 2 packages with 2 strong heroes if you use the tracking link. There's a PC version in addition to iOS and Android as well. And lastly, anyone who uses the promo code SPRINGHUNT24, you can collect 10 XP brew, 100 energy, and 100,000 silver. So if you want to download this game, there's no point starting it with nothing. You can use that tracking link in the description, and you can even get 2 epic new heroes, Tyrell and Rector Dra, available when you reach level 25. But you got to remember to use that tracking link if you want to get all of that I just listed off. So throughout this 6-week celebration of Raid's great community of players, the existing ones and new as well, there'll be heaps of activities and rewards. There's a first ever 14-day login program giving away a legendary champion after just 7 days. And you can get even more rewards in week 2 just by completing in-game activities. So everyone can get their hands on a free champion. Chronicler Adeline, just by logging in for 7 days between April 11th and July 8th. She's a member of the Vault Keepers, a secret society who protects shards from falling into the wrong hands. A perfect champion to have in your team. So you can hit the link in the description. Once you're in there winning your battles, come find me under my name, join the clan, and I'll see you in there. All right, let's get back to this video. So what I'm doing now is I'm just kayaking up this little section of creek and checking up in all of these mangrove areas. Sometimes you can see mud crabs sitting up there. I want to try find a little stream that I can actually walk up. Here we go. This looks good. So we just spotted the first mud crab of the day. I'm not sure how big it is. It went straight back down as soon as it saw me sneaking up on it. But it's got a hole just over this way. So what we're gonna do is we'll chuck the GoPro on the head, set up my camera, and see if we can pull it back out. I walked up through this way and spotted him across there, so I've come around. And we'll see if we can get a closer look at him. You can see how the hole's really stirred up. So he's just sitting in there somewhere. Right, so he's not that deep at all, but this hole does go down a fair way. I am getting hammered by mozzies right now. So what I'm doing is I'm feeling around for his back two swimmers. That's his two back legs. And I'm trying to make sure that I don't grab his claws at the front. I'm gonna try to do this in one take as well, just so you know it's legit. All right. There is one. There's the second one. And there we go. Big mud crab out here in the mangroves. That's a male for sure. Take a look at this thick mud that he's sitting in right now. That is so good. It's coming to the end of season at the moment, where these mud crabs will be a lot harder to find and a lot less active. So it's good to come back out here and actually get one, and take a look at the size of him. I'll put him down there. Take a look at that. Now, if you've been watching this channel for a while, I've been going out into the mangroves and catching these mud crabs since I was about 10 years old. You know, ever since I saw videos online of people going out and doing it, I wanted to do that myself. And so to come out here and catch my own food successfully out here in the mangroves is the coolest thing. And seeing as I got my fishing rod as well, what we're gonna try to do is try catch something that we can cook up alongside this big muddy right here. Might even try get another mud crab. I haven't had mud crab in so long. It'd be good to bring the family back one. All right, let's go. Let's get out of here, mate. It's always so good when you catch food first up in the morning, but I reckon I'm gonna keep going. This mud crab is a big feed, but to get it alongside maybe some fish or squid, see what else we can catch out here, maybe even another muddy. All right, you can go in there. You know, I love coming out here and catching mud crabs, but this, getting absolutely covered in mud, I love it even more. These big, giant mud crabs that taste so good are just living out here in the mangroves, waiting to be caught. All right, let's catch some fish. Got that one mud crab, and what I've decided to do is head straight back in and try catch another one. So I'm gonna start kayaking to a little section of mangroves which I know has big mud crabs in it because I've caught them there before. One of the crazy things that I didn't realize about mud crabs is they're very fast growing. They can reach legal size, which is 15 centimeters across the shell, in under a year. And seeing as here in Queensland you're not actually allowed to take the female mud crabs, every time that those crabs reproduce within about a year, There's a bunch of new legal crabs in here, and that's how these mangroves keep getting refreshed. While those mud crabs are little, all the mangrove jacks, cod, and everything will feed on them. And then when the mud crabs get bigger and one of those mangrove jacks or cod is to die, the big mud crabs will feed on them as well. But yeah, I've been getting hammered by mozzies all morning, absolutely covered in mud, but so worth it. All right, we've just spotted a big mud crab in this shallow section, this little sandy section of creek. Let's go see if it's a big male. Big muddy. It's shallow down that way. Take a look at this. Look at him cruising across the sand flats here. He's got one claw. Oh, come on, mate. All right, he's digging. There we go. Take a look at that. Another big mud crab. And he is full as well. Often when you get that yellowy color, they're pretty full crabs. Lost a claw. Definitely legal. Oh, it's a shame he's missing that other claw. That would have been his bigger claw as well. But still so good. First couple hours out here in the mangroves. 2 big mud crabs. It's been a while since I've actually come out here and looked for these mud crabs, at least 3 or 4 months, so it's good to see that the population is doing good. And after this, it's probably gonna be a while before I head back out here as well, because they slow down a lot during the winter. So yeah, I'm stoked to get a feed before that happens. Because I'm so used to these creatures, and I've been catching them since I was little, I feel like I don't appreciate how big of a crab this is. Anywhere that I've traveled in the world, when I tell them that we go out and catch big mud crabs out in the mangroves by hands and actually show them photos, they're amazed. Oh yeah, that right there, something that you don't want to be on the wrong side of. And these big claws at the front are mainly used for protection, for anything that's trying to eat these crabs. But they're also a cannibalistic species, so these 2 males, if they were in close proximity with each other, they went down the same hole, they'll actually use those big claws to battle and rip the other crab's legs and arms off. And what will happen is, how these crabs grow is they go through a stage called molting. It's like when snakes shed their skin, that's how they actually get bigger. So these crabs will do a similar sort of thing. And the minute that they actually come out of their old shell, their new shell is really soft. So if I put this one down for a second, you'd literally be able to push down on this shell into the crab itself for a little while after that crab has actually shed off its old shell. And you know, that's a perfect time for other crabs to come into that area and absolutely decimate one of those soft shell crabs. Pretty cool though. Look at that, you don't want to get on the wrong side of that claw, eh? Oh, you're funny. You're also dinner. All right. In you go, mate. You can go in there as well. It's low tide out here in the mangroves at the moment, and there's not too much going on, and usually at this time there never is. Normally at low tide, what I'll do is I'll get off the kayak, stop fishing, and head into the mangroves themselves to try and actually catch these mud crabs, which are now sitting out of the water. But the good thing about this is at about 6 or 7 o'clock tonight, it's gonna be high tide, and I've never actually explored this section of mangroves at night before. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a really good torch, come out here with my hand spear and try and catch some dinner that we can cook up alongside those mud crabs later on tonight. But what we're gonna do now, since not too much is happening in this creek system, we've got the mud crabs, so we're gonna head further up to where it turns to fresh water and actually go explore a place that's filled with big fish. And yeah, we'll try and get a few to cook up later. All right, while we still got a little bit of sunlight, let's get a fire going with this thing. But yeah, what we're gonna do now that this is dying down a bit, chuck like some layers across here like that, and we might as well get the muddies on. Chuck the second one just there. How good is that? So cool. So, since we got a few hours to kill, I'm gonna go for a bit of a walk up the creek, finish off these mud crabs first, and then go find a place where we can go for a swim, maybe even see some animals while we're up there. Pretty good, mate. We're just coming up to a pool now that I try to regularly visit after big rains because there's this certain whole rock formation, and sadly when big floods come through, often turtles can actually get trapped inside this little rock. Now I've filled it up with rocks before, but sometimes after big rains they end up coming out because this river is flowing so hard. Looks like there's nothing in there. Maybe the water didn't get up this high, but yeah, I've found turtles in here. Trapped a few times. There we go. Look at that. Big mud crab. Sitting just down in front of this tree root right here. All right. Gotta make sure he doesn't get away now that it's getting all murky. Nearly got him. And this right here is a big mud crab. There we go. All right, let's get him back up out of here. It's a pretty interesting catch. I never normally grab them like this. Look at that. Not a bad fella at all. Now, we've already caught 2 mud crabs today, and we cooked them up back at the creek, back where we're staying tonight. So I'm not sure if we need another one. It's crazy, but I might even chuck this big fella back. I was walking through the shallows here first with the spear, and then I decided to go up in the mangroves themselves, and that's when I spotted this big fella. Nighttime is definitely the best time if you want to come out here and catch crabs with your bare hands, but I think the good thing for this crab is since we've already caught 2 today, what we're actually gonna do is let this fella go, even though he's a big full crab, and we're gonna stick to the plan of attempting to catch something with the hand spear out here. I reckon if we get in the kayak, head further up the river, there's a place that I know has heaps of big mullet and big mangrove jacks in. So yeah, although this could be dinner right here, I reckon it's your lucky day, mate. Taking this fella from the mangroves would be completely fine, but I think might let someone else enjoy him, hey? Or maybe he can even live his life out here in the mangroves. Not if you're that slow though. There's a lot of people around here that would be bringing this crab home, but yeah, let's get him back in the water. All right, I'll let you go down at my... Oh, that's not a very nice way to say thanks. You're free to go. So cool. All right, let's jump in the kayak, head further up that way, and try and spear some dinner.